Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gridiron Gurus. My name is Luke, and joining with me, as normal, is
Ryan Green.
we're back. We weren't able to record last week; just had way too much stuff. School's winding up for both of us. Or I guess winding up to wind down for both of us. So we're going into Thanksgiving break. Lots of school, lots of schedule stuff, but we're back for the Week 12 pick'ems here. It's a solid slate of games. I don't love the primetime games, to be totally honest with you, but
I'm not mad at them,
I'm not mad at
but
the Monday. The Monday night should
yeah, the
be
Monday night game, yeah,
okay. I'm not totally sold on the Sunday night game, and we'll see. But we'll go through those games when we get there. But we're starting to see the kind of the playoff picture form a little bit here. Let me pull up the standings. So obviously, right now in the AFC, it's teams that are kind of out of it are the Jets, Patriots, Browns, Titans, Raiders, Jags. Those
yeah.
teams, they don't have all those teams have 8 losses. The Bengals and Bengals have 7 losses. Dolphins haven't had their bye yet. I think it is this week.
Yeah,
No, it's in
it's
2
next week.
weeks.
Next week.
Whatever. But so they have 6 losses. So the teams like right now, I guess you could still have the Bengals in it, even though I don't think
They would have to
it.
win out.
And I don't think their schedule is incredibly easy. They got the Steelers twice, and then Broncos, and then other than that, they should win. So maybe, but they drop one more game, they're out, pretty much. And then Dolphins maybe have a chance, but right now I think the wild card is probably kind of ish set for the AFC, in my opinion. I think the Colts can make a run at it.
It's
But
gonna really come down to the Colts versus the Broncos because
yeah,
that one's in I think either 3 or 4 weeks. And then the Colts' remaining schedule is pretty
yeah,
easy outside
it's
of that.
on
But I mean,
it's
they're gonna get obliterated by the
on
Lions, but yeah,
it's on the 15th, so I think it's 4 weeks.
yeah.
Because I think the Colts have a bye, so it's in 4 weeks that Broncos play the Colts. So that could be interesting. And Colts don't play the Texans again, so they play the rest of the division, which should be wins for them, I would think. But looking at the NFC, NFC is like a bloodbath for who's
Yes.
going to make. There are even the Saints. The way they're kind of playing right now aren't mathematically eliminated.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of crazy to say. Like the Bears are 4-6, the Bucks are 4-6. Like I get the Saints are in it still because of the AFC South
Well,
not
NFC
being
South,
that
but
good.
yeah,
NFC South not being that
yeah.
good. But you still got like the Seahawks and the Rams are outside looking in, and both of them are 5-5. The Niners are 5-5. They're looking out. They're outside looking in. It's just so congested. It's really right now it's the Vikings, Eagles, and Lions kind of all. Those are the only teams that I feel super confident in because even the Packers could miss it with how good the division is. But
Mhm. I
because
think
they
with
got
the
not,
Vikings, it depends on which Sam Darnold you're getting, but I think they've accrued enough wins in their remaining schedule. They should be able to at least if they start collapsing, they should be able to still be in the playoffs.
yeah,
I'm concerned how they're going to do later on in the playoffs, but I think they could
and
definitely make it in.
I do think the Packers are going to make it, but a schedule of Niners, Dolphins, at Lions, at Seahawks, Vikings, Saints, at Vikings, Bears. That's like none of those games are super. Like the Saints game probably, and the Bears will probably be the new coaching staff by that time. But Niners isn't easy. Dolphins, I have Tua back. Seahawks are a solid team. Lions are obviously the best team in the NFL, and then Vikings are really good. So just thought we'd run through a little bit of how it's kind of looking. We'll talk about that as we go through the actual schedule here. But going on Thursday night, we have Pittsburgh at Cleveland. What do I'm picking Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, no, the Browns suck. They're terrible. And they're not going to like Pittsburgh is a really good team, really good defense, well coached. They're playing good offensive ball, very complimentary, and they're going to win. So,
Yeah,
and
I'm not
I know
really.
it's a divisional game,
Yeah,
and so it's going to be close. Like it might be closer than you think, but I'd be very shocked if the Browns win this game.
yeah, I'm going to be streaming this game, and I'm really like the only other reason why I'm streaming is because I won't be streaming for like about 2 weeks because like the vacation and whatnot. But it's gonna be so boring of a matchup that like obviously we're all gonna pick the Steelers. I don't think there's gonna be that many people who are gonna be like, oh, the Browns gonna win, outside of like something crazy happening with like AFC North division rivals, like that kind of stuff. But like Russell Wilson has been doing an admirable job. They've been able to run the ball. Should be able to run the ball against this Browns defense as well, and also the fact that like I said, their defense is playing really well. So I don't see any upset happening. If anything, if there's an upset happening, it's going to be a very very boring game. So, but Steelers should win.
Yeah, if this, I feel like even if the Steelers get to 20 points, I feel like that's game. So it's I just don't trust this Browns offense to. I like Jameis, but he's going to throw picks if they're going to be like, oh, we're behind, we got to start throwing the ball. He's going to throw
Yeah.
interceptions.
I mean, they did good against a battered secondary and a battered defense
Yeah,
for the Saints. So,
yeah, and then they missed a bunch of kicks. So,
yes.
um, next game we have is the noon slate games. Is Minnesota at Chicago? Do you want to kind of bash the Bears for a minute?
Not entirely because it's just more like it's more so like what we've been saying for like the whole entire year, or at least what I've said is like that they were going into, I think it was, they were like when they were 4-2, and I called them out. Then you called me out for my wrong about being statistically wrong as far as like who their wins were against, not just against one win teams, but they hadn't really beaten anybody, and so I was just like, I don't really feel confident in them. And the fact that like their defense is still good, they still have really good red zone defense that helped them in the Packers game, but missed opportunities and just bad decision making by, I say bad decision making, it's horrible decision making by Matt Eberflus, for the fact of like you had so much more time, and instead of trying to get closer field goal, he said, no, you know what, we're good, we don't need that. We're just going to take the 40-yard field goal. You missed it because you get blocked, which technically was also an illegal block, but it is what it is. Um, but the fact, like, there's a lot of problems that were made by Matt Eberflus that's been continued to be made for the last couple of weeks, and it just shows like, why did you keep this guy? Why did you keep this guy from last year? You're doing the same thing you did with Mr. Trubisky. You do the same thing you did with Justin Fields, where you carry over a previous regime head coach that didn't work out for the rookie year, and you're going to end up screwing over Caleb Williams unless you get the right guy next time. Don't know if you will,
Ben
because
Johnson.
how I don't think it's Ben Johnson. I've said it before. Why would Ben Johnson want to go into the same exact division that basically he's cultivated a culture at the Lions? He has to go against the Lions 2 times every year, go against the Packers 2 times every year, and go against the Vikings two
because
times every year.
because I feel like he's going to be like, this is they're going to draft offensive line and they'll sign offense. Like it's a good offense. Like if you're an offensive head coach and you have confidence yourself, which I don't know why Ben Johnson wouldn't. He's going like you're going to have Roma Dunze and DJ Moore. Cole Kmet's a solid tight end. You start building out the offensive line a little bit, and like I think Ben Johnson could be looked at it like, okay, I'd have a good quarterback or like a really good rookie quarterback that I feel like I could develop. He won't be a rookie next year, but two really good weapons that are still aren't like DJ Moore is what 28.
27, yeah.
Yeah, so he like that's like he's going to be good for 5 years. Like he's going to be really good for like 4 or 5 more years, and then Roma Dunze will be coming in where I think they should run the offense through him. But that's a different matter. And he's been playing really well recently. Cole Kmet, good. I already mentioned is like you got playmakers. I think they have some players that they could fit on the offensive line. Maybe Darnell Wright can take a step in year 3. They have money. The defense has playmaker. Like I don't think the defense is a liability. They haven't been a liability. Like I know Eberflus, he's a defensive coach, and I think he's doing a good job with the defense. It's just the situational stuff is really bad with him, and I think the culture is just out of whack. Where it's just like Ben Johnson come in, build a culture. I know it's like you don't want to play the team that you like. I don't think Lions fans would hate Ben Johnson for going to the Bears.
Oh, Lions fans are trying to spread a lot of misinformation so he stays forever. So
Like I'm not convinced that Ben Johnson's going to leave, but I'm saying if I'm a coach, the best spot to go probably this cycle that will be open unless there's a huge surprise opening.
Yeah.
Would be the Bears in my opinion.
I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't want to go to a dumpster fire organization that always has problems with upper management. So like,
but you have a good
that's
GM.
true, but I think that's
drafted well.
Yeah,
and you have picks this year. Like you still have you have 2 firsts or 2 seconds this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have a first, you have 2 seconds. I'm sure you have more than you might have multiple threes. You got cap space. Like you could draft 2 offensive linemen high, and then get a running back in round 3 or something. Like they always like to have multiple running. Like I don't know. That's where I think Ben Johnson would go. All this to say, I'm picking Minnesota. Sorry, we didn't really talk about them, but they're better than the Bears. I just kind of wanted to rant on the Bears for a minute.
Yeah, they're better than Bears, and also the fact of like what we've said, what we kind of prefaced too is talking about the fact that like it's just been continuous week after week after week of just like bad decision making of like where they might have been close games, but because decisions by Eberflus has caused them to miss those games. Obviously, like the Hail Mary, that's coaching. There's also the fact that like you let them get that extra couple of yards so they can actually attempt the Hail Mary, and then the way that you rush the passer. This past game, we were like I just said, talking about like just basically running out the clock instead of actually trying to get more yards. It's decision making like that where like even if I think that the Bears might have a good shot against the Vikings, it just really depends on how Caleb Williams does against this Vikings defense because I think that Sam Darnold is going to struggle against the Bears defense. I'm still not going to be picking the Bears because I can't trust Matt Eberflus.
Yeah.
So,
next game we have is Detroit at Indy. This one, so Indy has the 28th ranked rushing defense in the league.
Yeah,
this could get bad. I think that Indy will be able to score better than like these blowouts that the Lions have had, where it's like the other teams just can't score. But I think that's just a huge mismatch. Like they're going to run the ball a lot, and I mean obviously that's like the Lions do. They love that. They have the best running back duo in the league, and good run blocking offensive line. But it's just a huge mismatch for Indy here, where it's just I don't see them not getting under 150 yards on the ground.
Oh,
like
easily
more than like I might like see them getting to 200 plus, and that happens. It's gonna be it could be a long day, especially if Detroit comes out, scores 3 and out, and then scores again, and all of a sudden you're 14-0 hole, and you're like, oh well, now we can't lean on Jonathan Taylor, and we have to have.
And it has to be a hero ball. A hero ball by Anthony Richardson is never going to be good.
So I'm gonna take Detroit. I'm guessing you're also taking Detroit.
Yeah, I mainly because, like I said, like running the ball, but also like after Jared Goff had a terrible game against the Texans, where they still were able to win, he's able to come out, go against the Jaguars, who obviously had a bad secondary, and totally obliterate them. I don't think he's going to have as good as the game as he did against the Jaguars this game. But I could see him still being very efficient. Him and Amon-Ra St. Brown have like a really great connection. I think like last game they were 11 on 11 targets. Like they were like literally like in sync. So I think it's going to continue into this game. But yeah, I think Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery are going to go off. And if you have them fantasy, good luck because you're probably going to get closer to 20s.
Next game we have is New England at Miami. I'm going to take Miami, but I will say about the Patriots, I don't think they're not a good team, obviously. Drake May looks really good.
Yes.
Drake May looks really good, which is all you care about if you're New England at this point. You care about making sure he doesn't get killed, which actually their pressure rate has been a lot better since he's been inserted into the lineup. And I think part of that is he's mobile. He is maneuvering the pocket very well. But I like what I've seen from Drake May. However, Miami's fighting to stay in this in the playoff hunt, and they have Tua back. This is a must-win game for them, and I think that it's in It's in Miami, so they normally play better in Miami. So I expect them to win this game.
I agree. I think it's gonna be closer than people think, just because I think Patriots been a very scrappy team as of late. So I think that Miami's gonna be able to pull it out, mainly because like Tua being back's really helped with their offense. Because I mean, he's been
Well,
back for
obviously,
3 weeks now. Is it
yeah,
three? Is it third week? Yeah.
two,
So like
two. Something like
and
that.
they've been like scoring in like the 27, 24 range, and I'm like, if they get to that point, I don't think that the Patriots can be able to match as far as offensively wise. So I think they'll be able to win. Obviously, I mean they're on a 3 game win streak right now, I believe, and they have to be on a 6 game win streak to even really get in the playoff consideration. So yeah, this is a must win.
Yeah. Next we have Tampa Bay at New York. Big news out of New York. Bench Daniel Jones. Not only benched him, he's the third string.
Yeah,
So behind Tommy DeVito and Drew Lock. Even with Tommy DeVito, I still don't think this is going to be a super competent offense because I don't think Tommy DeVito is even that good. And there's a lot of problems on this offense. And the offense line's not very good now without Andrew Thomas. And Tyron Tracy's a good story. I still think they need another running back. I think they need another receiver outside of Malik Neighbors, and they desperately need a quarterback. So I think Tampa Bay should win this game. I think it'll be close-ish just because Tampa Bay, I'm not sure their defense is awesome. I don't know how built they are to pull away from teams, but I think Tampa Bay wins this by like a touchdown.
I just think Tampa Bay is going to win by a good bit, maybe because like I don't trust this. I don't trust this New York Giants offensive line, especially against a defensive line that has shown potential. Obviously, can't see has done well. Vita Vea is an absolute menace in the field in the middle, and like they have really good pass rushers. I think that the way Baker's been playing, even with the depleted weapons, I think against this really bad secondary for the Giants, I think he'll be able to do well. It's really about if they can run the ball, and so far they've been able to, because I think that it's going to be coming down to, can Graham Barton hold up enough against Dexter Lawrence? And if he can, then I really think the Buccaneers are going to be able to easily win this game. I don't have
Yeah.
any faith in the Giants. They lost to us, for goodness sake. So, like, yeah, I'm not going to pick the Giants for the rest of the year, because they're pretty much just looking forward to next year of like, who can we possibly get? Jalen Murray will come on down. That's my prediction. But um, yeah, so Buccaneers should win and stay within this very, very tight contested NFC South race.
Yeah. Now we have an NFC East matchup: Dallas at Washington.
Who are you going with there, Luke? I mean, it might be a little bit of surprise there, but I mean, your Texans beat up on the Cowboys, but that could just be a flash in the pan. It could be
The
something.
Cowboys are so bad. They
Yes.
are so bad. This is this is an abysmal defense. They're so soft. Their offense, they had like a series where they lost 3 offensive linemen in 3 straight plays.
Yes.
Like they lost Zach Martin, like they lost Tyler Guyton, Zach Martin, and then Tyler Smith, and like back to back. It was like it felt like back. Well, I know they lost Zach Martin and Tyler Smith back to back, but like
Yes.
Guyton was like out previous,
Well,
like a little bit. But
Guyton was out after he got absolutely hammered by Jalen Petrie on that
yeah,
fumble recovery. Yeah.
yeah, but it's just not like the offensive line was maybe one of the only okay parts of this team, and like Michael Parsons played really well, but
Hmm.
this defense is bad. This just team overall is bad. This is I don't know why they're trying, like they're still trying to like give Trey Lance run, man. Just see what you have. Like maybe you can trade him.
No. If you saw him in preseason, if you saw him in the little time that he
But
showed,
here's the
like,
thing,
yeah.
I don't care. Even if he's so bad, he helps you lose games. You're not gonna make the playoffs. And I know Jerry's never gonna like want to, but it's like, dude, at this point, just try and get a top 5 pick. Try and get as
Mhm.
high as you possibly can in the
Get your
draft.
Genty. Get your Genty, man. I mean, that's what you ultimately want.
Dude, they have so many other problems than
I know, but
drafting
that's what probably
GNT.
going to go with.
I know, and it's
Also,
gonna be and Cowboys fans will be so hyped for it, and then it's like, oh wait, that doesn't fix our run defense. Like
it's another thing too. Another thing too. Um,
there was Zach Martin in the offseason, by the way, too.
yeah, more than likely. But the fact too is that you have for some reason they decided to leave Terrence Steele 1-on-1, and like kind of what you were saying
Dude,
about like
Daniil
the one
Hunter
bright spot.
absolutely.
Yes. It made no sense to me because like that has been a continuous point of like the problems for the Cowboys is that Terrence Steele cannot pass block to save his life, and you decide that you're going to put him 1-on-1 with Daniel Hunter on three different occasions. They absolutely cooked him each time. There was one time where like there was it was a, oh my gosh it was just a perfect rip and then swim move that like made him look completely silly, and then another sack, and another one that was a pressure that almost a sack. And I was just like, you can't keep on doing this because it's not. I understand, you're deviating resources, like if you have to have like a chip or anything like that. But if he can't block, if he can't pass block by himself, you need to help him out, or just a quick pass because otherwise, you saw it in the game. He got obliterated each time, and yeah, like I said, the Cowboys have so many problems that literally like I honestly, the first time that I might pick the Panthers to win is when we play the Cowboys, which is surprising to me. Like the fact that the Cowboys tickets are still expensive for the Panthers game, it shouldn't be. But like we have a legitimate chance to beat the Cowboys in our own home stadium. So yeah. Um Also, how's that Jonathan Mingo trade working out? Because obviously you haven't done anything with them. So thank you for the fourth. Thank you for the almost third round pick you're going to give us because it's going to be a top 5 pick. So
Yeah, I don't. The
yeah.
Texans even have Will Anderson in this game, and the Texans are getting pressure constantly. I mean, like it's a good front, obviously. I mean, Denico Autry has looked significantly better since coming back from his. He looked rough the first 2 games, and he's looked a lot better the last 2 or 3 games. Daniil Hunter is, I think he leads the league in pressures. Um,
Close to it, yeah.
or he's top three, and like I know Will Anderson was top three before he got hurt. But it's like I know it's a front that can get pressure, but like Daniil Hunter, he was everywhere. I mean, every play it felt like he was doing something. And he had a lot of plays in the run game. It's just Dallas had no answers, and they just didn't even try. They're like, yeah, let's keep leaving him 1-on-1. It's like if he's gonna keep doing this, at least put somebody else on him. It was bad game planning. I'll just say Washington's gonna roll. In my opinion, it's a ten
Yes.
point line in a
It
divisional
should
game.
be more.
That's crazy. And I'm probably, if I was a betting man, I would probably bet Washington to cover.
Yeah.
Next game, your team. This is the
Yep.
biggest line of the week. Kansas
I'm
City
not
going to
surprised.
Carolina. Kansas City's favored by 11. Your team,
Yeah.
you take it, Ryan.
So obviously Chiefs coming off of a loss. Um I'm trying to remember what the actual score like actual record is for Andy Reid, but I know especially after a bye he usually wins. But after a loss, especially the first loss of the season, we are probably going to get obliterated. But it's fine because it's all about evaluation. So can how's our offensive line going to handle their defensive line, which is one of the best in the leagues. Obviously, Chris Jones has been on a tear. I mean, he's been creating so much pressure interior, and Karlaftis has been having a pretty good season as well. Um, so I am going to be the Chiefs, obviously, but do I expect us to cover? We might be able to get a garbage time touchdown. I'll say we cover. I'll be a surprise. We if it's 11 points, I'll say we'll lose by 10. There we go.
Yeah,
We'll
I'm
do
taking
just enough.
I'm taking Kansas City. I mean, not a lot. It's going to be a motivated team coming off a loss. Carolina's not that good. Pacheco will be back next week, so Kansas City will get even better. It's just I don't know if I can take Kansas City to win by 11 just because I don't think their offense is built to pull away, but it's against a team that's not very good, so I could definitely see it.
Yeah.
And honestly, it might even like there's not going to be a big home field advantage. It might be home field advantage Chiefs, truthfully.
No, that's
Um,
how it is for you most times. So yeah.
yeah, but so both taking the Chiefs there, and then we have Tennessee at Houston. I'm taking Houston to win this one. I'm still not like in on the Texans or anything. I think they're an okay team, but two winnable games next 2 weeks. Tennessee and Jacksonville win those two games. Probably just need one more to win the division. Um, it's a good. The offensive line for the Titans is not that good. Will Levis been playing better ball recently? And Tennessee is a like. I'm not taking this win for granted. Because Tennessee is a tough team, but it's in NRG Stadium. Um, Will Anderson should be back. They had Nico Collins on a snap count last season. They played like 47% of snaps. That should
Mhm.
probably jack up even more. Like they also probably realized, oh, okay, we're blowing them out. We don't need Nico. And he
Plus,
had the
also the fact
touchdown.
too,
He
like
also had the touchdown on like the
yeah,
first
call back.
play that got called back. Um, but he'll we should win this game. Healthy Nico. Offense is okay in the first half, terrible in the second half. They scored a touchdown for the first time in 4 weeks in the second half, and that was all because the defense set them up. They would
Yeah,
not have scored if the defense didn't set them up for it. But either way, I still think even if we don't score in the second half, I think we should still win this game.
I agree. Like I said, Titans are a scrappy team. I'll be interested to see how y'all do against their really good pass
Dude,
defense.
Jeffrey
But
Simmons is going to kill Juice Scruggs.
kill,
He's bad. Juice
yes,
Scruggs is bad.
yes. No, I commented on it last night. It was just like, yeah, he got absolutely obliterated each time. He got obliterated by a Digazua, and who else? He could be by somebody else. But yeah, no, I think it'll be a lot closer than people think. What was the line on that one?
8.
8. Mm. But like I said, the Texans should still win. Like I said, you have
Yeah.
talent. Titans are still kind of focusing now on the offseason, but it's still going to be good for Will Levis if he's able to continue to develop and where like they're not going to quite look for a quarterback
hmm
in the upcoming draft because they'll be in position because they're right now they're number 2. So
Yeah. Texans do need to replace all three interior offensive line spots in this offseason. I had hope for Juice Scruggs, but he's just bad. He's just
yep.
bad, man. And
Trey
so
Smith,
he's
you are a Texan. Get ready to get
dude,
paid.
please, please.
Get ready
And
to
then
get paid.
Tyler Booker and Trey Smith, I would oh my gosh, I'd cry. I'd cry sweet, sweet, sweet tears. Um
Would you do that on stream? That'll be good. That'll be a good
dude,
clip to
I
have.
would well if we well, we'll have known if we were signing. I actually like my dream is probably signing James Daniels because I think he's going to be more accurate to get, and then sign like drafting Tyler Booker, trading back and drafting Tyler Booker. That's what I think is going to happen. Or not I think, but that's what I hope is going to happen because I don't think we'll get Trey Smith. I think he's going to Washington. Um, but then we go into the afternoon slate of games. Denver at Vegas. Um, Denver's looking like a good team. I mean, they need this win to stay in the playoffs or stay in the wild card. They're obviously not going to win the division just because they're in the Chiefs division. But
Unless
they've
something
been
happens to the Chiefs.
they lost two in a row. They got blown up by the Ravens, and then they lost in the they almost broke the Chiefs winning streak, and they got blocked in the field goal. But then they absolutely killed the Falcons.
Yes.
But I expect the Broncos to win this game. I don't really trust Vegas going against a good defense in the Broncos. Denver should just do enough, and they should win the game.
I think the other thing too is like, yeah, they dominated the Falcons, but they literally played into the strengths of the Falcons. They have really good they have really good pass rushers for the Denver Broncos, and that's something that the Falcons definitely do not have because like Brodex pretty much was able to like sit back there and do whatever he wanted because they couldn't get any kind of pressure. So, I mean, that's hardcore with the Falcons. They're unbiased when I talk about them, but I'm talking about them because I'm like it just shows how like they might be in the lead of the NC South, but there's still a chance for pretty much every single team because they have just been sucking. But yeah, no, like I think the Broncos obviously their defenses should be able to carry them into the playoffs. Like I said before, the Colts Broncos game is going to be very very important next coming weeks. But the Raiders are just the Raiders are another team that's pretty much just like not quite tanking, but it's just like they're just not good and I don't see it. I don't see it really happening. I don't really see anything changing. I think that the Broncos beat the Raiders earlier in the year, right?
I believe
Because I
so.
know they were on a streak. of
Yeah,
losing.
34
Yeah,
18.
that's what I thought. Yeah, so I think that the Broncos will be able to live with a streak of their own and be able to beat the Raiders.
Yeah. Then we have San Fran at not Denver, Green Bay. That is a that's an inch. This is probably the hardest game to pick so far of the week.
Yeah.
I think me and you have not differed on my pick so far, and we haven't really had like any like tough picks. This is the kind of the first tough pick of the week. I'm going with Green Bay.
We the same as I think.
Dang it. I think Green Bay's going to run the ball. I think Jordan Love is going to play like he's going to have turnovers and stuff, but he's going to have those big plays. It's at home to Green Bay. Just I don't know. I think Jordan Love is different than Aaron Rodgers. I think he might actually be able to beat San Francisco. So,
Well,
and
yeah, technically,
honestly, I think Green Bay is honestly a more talented team anyway.
yeah. I like technically they've been able to beat them the last two times in the regular season. They've been lost to them the last two times in the playoffs, though. So it's like it's kind of like with the Chiefs and the Bills. They can beat them they can beat them in the regular season, but when it matters most, they can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think obviously this 49ers team is talented, but the injuries have really, really decimated this team, especially on offense. I think that Brock Purdy's been having a pretty good season, but the fact that you're going against a defense that is opportunistic, I feel like not as much as they were early in the year when Xavier McKinney had that streak going on, but I still feel good enough with the Packers defense that um, Jordan Love won't be having to play from behind, and he won't be doing like his usual hero ball stuff because he'll probably have like a pick or two, which is kind of par of the course nowadays. But if he's in more of a comfortable lead, I don't feel like he's going to make a lot of those dangerous passes where
Yeah.
he's almost like a mix of like Brett Favre in a way. At least he doesn't steal from kids. But I do think the Packers are going to win. I truly feel like this is a this is pretty much like who's going to make the playoffs because I don't feel like the 49ers are going to win the division. Technically, they're still in it, but I really don't think they are with the fact of like they've lost to each of the other three divisions, but each of the other three division opponents. So, and it was at home each time. So you would have to go into each person's home, steal a win, and be able to, outlast a Cardinals team that's kind of looking pretty good right now. The Rams are always like, kind of in there. Seahawks, who knows? So like I truly think this is a whoever wins is gonna make the wild card. So I'm gonna say Packers and the 49ers miss out on the playoffs.
Yeah. Then we have Arizona at Seattle. Is this for first place?
Pretty much, yeah.
Let's see.
Well, it depends on what
Yeah,
happens with the Rams.
yeah.
If they're
Cardinals are on a 4-game winning streak,
yes, they are.
coming off of a bye. I forget. Seattle they lost last week.
They
They won 20 to
won, yeah.
17 over the Niners. Hmm.
Because remember, Gino ran it in for a touchdown.
I'm going to keep rolling with the Cardinals, man. I don't think
So am I.
I picked four with them for 4 straight weeks. They're coming off of a bye. I think that matters. I don't know. I'm going to trust the offense here of the Cardinals. I think they're going to be good, and I think they'll be able to. I think this game might be a little bit high scoring,
Mhm.
maybe in the low 30s. So, but I'm gonna ride with the Cardinals, man. You're hopping on my Cardinals hype train.
I am confident in the Cardinals hype train because we both said at the beginning of the year that we could be a scrappy team, but we did not believe they were going to be as good as they are right now.
Yeah,
They're already ahead of schedule as far as like
they
the
are.
rebuild.
They're like a really good draft away from like being a potential contender.
Yeah, because like even if they made the playoffs, like I don't think they're going to make too much noise, but like it's going to be a building block of like, okay, hey, we're moving in the right direction. We feel like feel like we have the right guy because we clowned him when he first got hired, but
Building a culture.
he's building a culture and like you can say all you want, but you might be a interesting dude, but he definitely has players, playing well. Like, James Conner's have a really good season. Kyler Murray's had a really great season, and I think it's going to continue against the Seahawks. Like I said, the Seahawks have been a very up and down team this year, so I guess to the point where another reason why I'm picking the Cardinals because I just can't yet trust the Seahawks. I think they'll be a good team in the future, but there's a lot of problems as far as like the offensive scheme that I have, as far as like not really running the ball when they really need to, more pass based. That obviously with Ben Grubb coming from Washington, so there's that too. But they have potential. There's a way for Seattle to make it into the playoffs. Obviously, when they play a Green Bay, that's gonna be another important game for Green Bay to try to distinct themselves from uh, the other wild card spots. But I truly think that Cardinals are on a roll. Could be surprised if the Seahawks win, but I think Cardinals are going to be able to get some little more separation for the division and be the surprise division winner of the season.
Yeah. I don't know. I keep rolling with the Cardinals. I picked them every game on this 4-game win streak, and I don't know. It's hard for me to hop off. It's hard for me to get off this hype train. I know I kind of. This isn't a solid Sunday night football matchup.
Yeah.
It's Philly at the Rams. Philly's gonna win this game, I think. The Rams, to me, even though they're 5-5 and they've won 4 out of their last 5, it's just been a little underwhelming to me. I
Yeah.
feel like they should be better than what they are.
I really truly think it was the Dolphins game that really got me to where I was like, I don't think they'll be able to pull off a we can make the playoffs kind of thing. Because I was truly like, okay, if they beat the Dolphins, that pretty much almost eliminates the Dolphins, and they can go on a little bit of a run. Yeah, they've had injuries, but like hey, they are still a good enough team that they can make it. But because of that loss, I was like, it showed a lot of flaws in the Rams that will need to be fixed in the offseason. And I don't think they're going to be able to be. I don't think they're going to be in a position enough that they can upset the Eagles that are coming in hot. Like they were 2-2, now they're 8-2, and they're trying to keep pace with the Lions to have a chance of that first overall seed. So I'm not going to pick against the Eagles. Plus, also I kind of want Saquon to go off. That would be really nice for my fantasy. But regardless, um, I truly think that the Eagles are a little bit of a wagon. But interesting to see who Quinyon Mitchell matches up on because he's been dominating. I picked him to win Offensive Rookie of the Year at the beginning of the season, and he has proved me right because he's been shutting down pretty much anyone he goes up against. So it's going to be a long day for whoever he's matched up on, whether it be Cooper Cup or be Puka Nakua. I am going to pick the Eagles to win pretty handily.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Eagles to win, just because I'm like, I don't know. I'm just been like I said, I've just been underwhelmed by the Rams. I know this is like a must-win game for them, and if they win, they would be a lot better situated for the playoffs. But they lose, not so much because they have some tough games coming up. But I think Philly is playing really good. They are. How many have they won in a row?
They've won
6.
6 in a row.
6 in a row. I think they're going to make it 7.
Yep.
And Philly very well could win 14 games. I mean, they got the Ravens, but then it's like Panthers, Steelers, tough game. Commanders, I think they're better than the Commanders.
Yep.
Cowboys, Giants. I mean, even if they lose, Ravens, Steelers, even if they lose 2 games, I mean, they won 13 games in the season. Everyone hates on Nick Sirianni, but he wins games. He just wins games, man. So I'm also taking Philly. And then for our Monday night football matchup, Baltimore at the Chargers, Battle of the Harbaughs. I'm taking Baltimore to win. A lot of wacky stuff went on last week. Derrick Henry's first fumble in 3 years. Justin Tucker could not make a kick. It was bizarre. I mean, he hasn't been very good all year, but still he was missing kind of bad. And then, but I think this Baltimore team is still really, really good. I have worries about their defense, like especially like getting consistent pressure, but and like I think that also bleeds over into the secondary. But I like this Chargers team. I think I love how they're being built. I love the kind of culture Harbaugh's putting in. Justin Herbert is playing at an MVP level, and he needs to kind of get some respect on that because he should be in the MVP conversation. In my opinion, he should be top 5. But this Chargers team is scrappy, but they're just out talented by the Ravens. Lamar is probably going to win his 3rd MVP. Derrick Henry is probably going to win Offensive Player of the Year. But this Baltimore team is really
I
good.
was thinking Saquon might.
Yeah, but if Derrick Henry rushes for 2,000 yards, which is what he's on track for, he's also leads in touchdowns. I think. Let me find his stats. So Derrick Henry right now, he has almost 1,300 rushing yards and fit. Yeah, dude, he's got. Saquon has 10 touchdowns. Right behind him. Saquon has 10 touchdowns. Derrick Henry has 15.
Yeah,
and Derrick Henry has more rush. They're close in rushing yards, but it's like if Derrick Henry rushes for 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns, he's going to get it. And also, it's the king, and so everyone loves Derrick Henry.
They really love Saquon except for the Giants.
Yeah, I think Henry would probably get the nod, just because man, he's so good. He's averaging 6 yards a carry, bro.
Which is still like wild to me that Tom Monken in 2 separate games just decided, you know what, let's not use Derrick Henry. And I have praised Tom Monken because obviously he was a former Georgia offensive coordinator that made them look good on offense. Then since he's been gone, they've been, and then obviously at the Ravens, like they had good years last year, and then now they're still having a good year. But the fact that he just randomly decides, you know what, we're not going to run the ball this time. I still don't understand it. Like I said, that's real. I think it's gonna be a closer game. I'm predicting that the Ravens win 23-20. Like I said, I think it'll be like a Justin Tucker comeback game. I think it'll be one of those games where, like, yes, he had a really bad game last week, and he's had really bad games. Honestly, I know because he's on my fantasy team. But I think this is a get right back game. It's always crazy whenever they play against the Steelers. They haven't beat the Steelers. Really, I mean, Lamar won his first ever start against the Steelers, and that's been it. So it was for like, and I really don't. I think it's just more like that kind of like Tomlin just knows how to play them. So against the Hardballs, I'm gonna take the Ravens, and like I said, 23-20. It's gonna be a hard fought game going into the fourth quarter, probably like a 20-20 kind of game.
I'm gonna go 30-23. Close-ish game, but I think the Ravens will like it'll feel like the Ravens are going to win the game, like starting in the fourth quarters. But closing in on the final weeks of the regular season, man. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks left. Dang, and then it's playoffs. This season flew by.
Yes, it has.
For me, I've lost 5 straight in fantasy because I'm freaking getting screwed. Pissed off. Most points in the league, and I'm 5-6 because I have more points against me than anybody. Like I have.
We are tied for 6th place. It's literally between me, you, 2 other people, and then the guy above us. If he loses to me this week, which it should not be a good week for me, but if he loses to me this week, then he is pretty much eliminated. I'm just like, does not have a good team.
I have 1,430 points against me. No one else above me has 1,200.
Yeah, I have 100 less than you. I think that's what mine at.
Yeah, you have 100 less than me, but also
because my first 5 weeks were terrible.
I have so many points. We've never seen this in our fantasy league where someone is like the number 1 scorer will miss the playoffs, which is just so stupid. But that's none.
You just gotta trust in me, bro. Trust in me, and I can help you out.
We're gonna lose.
I'm gonna eliminate him
in the playoffs, but. Thank y'all for watching this week's episode of Gridiron Gurus. We'll be back at you next week going over the week 13 games as we
week 12
kind of wind down and and then we'll start hitting into the draft stuff, which both me and you love the draft. So that's kind
Yes.
of like our
And also free agency. We also love to talk about
yeah.
what other big time or small time moves people can make.
But we'll only have like 9 more weeks of predicting stuff because that's like when the Super Bowl is over. So, and I will do something else with the Super Bowl, obviously, because we're not just going to spend 40 minutes talking about the Super Bowl. But
Yeah.
anyway, thank you all for watching and see you on the next one. Bye.